Sorry. All right.
Hey, it's another episode of Bleacher Blums. I am Geoff Blum, your co-host of Bleacher Blums. I'm also eventually, someday soon, hopefully, the current color commentator for the Houston Astros, working for Major League Baseball. And out there I'm in Houston. And my good buddy David Tuttle is out there on the left coast out in Southern California. He's enjoying you had a cold front go through there, I think. Did you guys get cold, like 60 degrees, 40 degrees, 50 degrees? What do you got?
Yeah, we got a little hail the other night. It was about.
Did you really? I saw some of that because of the Genesis tournament in Palos Verdes.
That's right. It was. I think a balmy 40 degrees in Southern California, which is, I mean, Houstonites would laugh. So would East Coasters would laugh at us. But yeah, it was a little brisk. It was 40 degrees the other night, and we actually got some. Yeah, we had some pellets hitting the car. We were like, oh, people were pulling off the road. It was like,
how weird is that, right? Was it big? Like it was a golf ball base?
No, it wasn't that stuff. No, it was little pellets, little pellets. It looked like cat litter. That's nice.
I'm glad you had to endure that. You're probably, and California is much like Houston in the sense that it gets cold every once in a while, but not cold enough to where you got to break out like, your snowboarding gear or anything like that, or find the reason to go buy, cold weather stuff. And that's probably the biggest thing for me. Living with a bunch of women is the second it gets below 60 degrees, it's like, damn, we need a whole new wardrobe. And I'm fighting that constantly. It's like, put on a sweatshirt, put on a jacket, put on a scarf. We got that. That's fine. But we're not going out and just, getting the fur, the parkas, and all that stuff.
Well, you also have 5 women in the house, which, I mean, we've talked about that on the podcast before, but man, 5 women would be nuts. I mean, it's one thing to get 1 new wardrobe or 2 new wardrobes. I have 3 women in my house, but 5 women is going to be, eventually they'll hopefully be getting their own wardrobe. Like, to your point, they'll be out of the house buying their own wardrobe. But it is funny how I don't know if it's this scientific thing, but, you do get accustomed to where you live. I lived in Connecticut growing up, and my mom would come out and yell at me at the bus stop because I had my jacket off. I had a beanie on. We're throwing snowballs, and I got red cheeks and a T-shirt. She's like, put your winter jacket on. So there you're like, it's 30 degrees out, and you got, you're like running around the bus stop. Whereas here, and admittedly, I go to my daughter's soccer practice the other day at 5 o'clock, and at 5:30, the sun comes down, and I look exactly like that. I got the hood up. I got a beanie. Do I have a beanie? Do I have any mittens in the car?
Trying to find that stuff is hilarious.
It is hilarious. And I've actually become like one of those parents. It's funny because the parents will look at me, and they're always shivering. The last 15 minutes of practice, like the pickup time, they're like, oh, and I'm over there, and I've got a beanie on. I usually have AirPods in, so I'm not talking. But I got a beanie on, and I got a full-on jacket. Yeah, I'm like warm and toasty. Yeah, I'm locked in. They look at me. I'm like, hey, I just keep it in my trunk, people. Like, get with the program.
It's an emergency. You have like your go bag in the back of your truck.
That's right. But I do think, and this is funny to start with the weather, but I mean, Houston is probably one of the highest varieties of weather. I mean, you can have 105 and humid, and all of a sudden it's like 30 degrees and windy and maybe snowy, and you're like, well, where did this come from? Like, that doesn't make sense.
To your point, the last couple of days, this is, we're recording over the weekend. We had 2 days of 60 degrees and then 35 at night. And on, the next week, it's going to be 80 and thunderstorms. Yeah. But you're right about acclimating, and it happened too. Like when you would go to spring training, I remember a lot of this, especially playing, most of my minor leagues were on the East Coast. So until I got to the the only year I actually had a warm spring was in Florida State League in 1995. And a lot of times I would go to spring training with the Expos, and we would spend, a month and a half in this gorgeous 75-degree humidity. Everything felt loose. Everything felt great. You made the team you wanted to make, and you broke camp, and we got sent to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I'd be in thermal underwear and turtlenecks for the first month of the season. Or Ottawa, Canada, and we'd be shoveling out the bullpen, shoveling snow out of the bullpen so the guys would have a place to go. And so it's kind of interesting. And, you are a victim of where you're at. And I've definitely acclimated to Houston because my blood is thin as could be right now. I mean, the second it gets to 70 degrees out here, I feel like I'm like, damn, I need a sweatshirt, man.
Yeah. Well, the weather in Houston's a lot like this podcast, folks. We're all over the place today. We did not plan a whole lot, but that's been the case the last few podcasts. But you've stuck with us, and it's been fantastic. So you can reach us at Blummer27 on Instagram and Twitter. Myself at Real David Tuttle, Instagram and Twitter, and of course BleacherBlums.com. You get some merchandise, and on YouTube, Bleacher Blums search gets you some short hops with some video clips of Blum pulling a sweatshirt over his head to show you what I look like. What I look like during practice.
So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can get notified when we post new videos.